This week's ID at Xbox Showcase gave us a packed preview of upcoming indie titles. We're going to talk about some of the titles that were most interesting to us and some games you might not have even heard of yet.
And look out, Steam Deck. There's some new competitors coming to the handheld gaming world. We're going to talk about all this stuff and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. Gaming News Weekly is back. We are the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're coming to you on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services, everywhere to talk about all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. My name is ROG the Red. I'm joined every week by the man right here, Full Clip. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Doing all right. Bones intact and everything. Nothing wrong there. How about you?
Boy. It's not as good. I fell a couple weeks ago, broke a tiny little bone in my wrist, got to wear a cast for like almost 3 weeks. So not too bad. The biggest issue, I can't hold like a controller. I can't hold my Steam Deck, dude. It's the worst. So, I'm like, I've been a little bummed out about the whole situation. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll survive. Yeah. I'm figuring it out,
Yeah, I was going to suggest, if ever there were a time for the Xbox adaptive controller, but it sounds like you're only in there for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, might not be worth it.
Yeah, I'm not ready to drop, $500 on a controller right now for this, but it is good that it's out there. But yeah, the biggest issue is that, so I can hold like the PlayStation controller or the Xbox controller barely. I can't like move the analog stick and hit the bumpers at the same time. But the biggest issue is that the Steam Deck, the way that it's held, it's thinner and it's like longer, so I can't really prop it up. So I can't play my Steam Deck, dude. I'm so like annoyed. The good thing about that though is that it has like touch screen and stuff. So I'm playing like some deck building, like card battlers and stuff like that, and just using the touch screen. So I'll manage. I played a bunch of Wheel of Fortune. Not a lot of action needed in Wheel of Fortune. That's like the most middle-aged gaming decision I've made yet.
We get there. I played a little Jeopardy on the Switch lately.
There you go. Yeah. What is nerds? That's us, baby. What have you been playing? Anything good other than Jeopardy?
Okay, so yeah, I finally picked up a game I've just been waiting a long, long time on, and it's in the title how long I've been waiting. Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. That is on like a pretty steep discount on Steam, and along with a lot of the DLC. So I picked up the base game, I picked up the Electric Cars DLC, and the Hot Rods DLC.
Nice. What car have you done? Anything cool?
Well, they're all like, except for unless you buy these packs with the name brands, they're all like a wink and a nod, like the real thing. But it's like there's a different name for Ford, there's a different name for Chevy, and on and on. But I have not, you got to start slow when you do sort of the story campaign mode. You have to start building that bank up before you can go find a barn find or a junkyard find. So I'm not quite there as far as like picking out something for myself to keep long term.
All right. You're enjoying it though?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a step up from the one before it. It's the kind of game where I feel like on the surface you kind of laugh. It's like, what's the difference between Farming Simulator 2020 and 2021? But there's a little bit more of a difference in timeline wise for these. So there are quite a few additions to the 2018 version of the game, and I'm kind of waiting to see how complicated the next one's going to get. Because still, it's like a dumbed down version of real life. You don't have like wiring at all in this one. But the last one didn't have a coolant reservoir. It didn't have power steering to worry about, brake fluid. This one, you have to worry about that.
Gotcha, it's getting more advanced. I did see that they have it in, like, you can get it in VR. I saw carts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know what that's like, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. What have I been playing? Prior to the incident, I was playing a lot of Dredge on my Steam Deck. That game is a blast, dude. It's creepy, and just the hook of it, the fishing and getting weirder fish and different fish, and avoiding sea monsters. It's great. And then so there was a shadow drop the other day, of the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Did you see this game?
Yeah, I heard about it.
So,
I didn't see any of the video of it so far.
So I put maybe about an hour into it. It's not a very long game, but it's just like a point and click. Not more of a, I would say more like a visual novel type situation. There's a lot of reading, less action, but then there is like a little mini game, like a little or like an endless runner type game to progress things. And it's so well written. It's like a blast. Like, this is probably the most fun I've had playing any Sonic game ever. Is this game.
We should talk about the origins there, because even though it sounds like a fanfic, this is something that Sega put out. Do you know anything else
Sega put it out. Yeah, no, I don't know why or why it was made,
was it April
or
Fool's?
anything. No,
Oh,
it wasn't. I mean, I don't. At least I don't think so. It might have been, but yeah, it just showed up, and I was like, "What is this game?" Like, and then I'm like, thought it was gonna be like, you know, like Choo Choo Charles is like a knockoff or whatever. I thought it was gonna be like that, and there's like a murderous like person that killed. But no, it's about a like one of those party games, like a murder game, like you said,
Yeah.
solve the thing. So, but it's got all the characters, Tails and Knuckles, and all these other characters that I'm not familiar with. And it's a blast. It's a really well made game. I was enjoying that quite a bit. And then, one of the new games I've been playing with my son, it was the PlayStation Plus game. It was the Sackboy game, Sackman.
Yeah.
That sounds like an entirely different thing. But it's such a really great platformer. You could play it like co-op, and we're having a lot of fun playing that. It's like a collectathon type game, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta get all the things and move on. But I recommend that
Sorta.
to anybody on the fence about the you got PlayStation Plus and you like platformers, get that Sackboy whatever Big Adventure.
Yeah, does it feel a lot like Little Big Planet, that it's sort of the spiritual successor to?
Yeah, more. I think it's better in terms of the gameplay. It's a little cleaner because Little Big Planet had that it was like a side-scrolling thing. You could go in and out of like the background and stuff like that. This is more like a 3D platformer. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's great, and the graphics are great, dude. There's a whole like we're playing it, all of a sudden like that Uptown Funk song comes on by like Bruno Mars, and it's like the whole board goes to the music, like, and then like they do the part where like ooh, and then there's like this character jumps out and goes ooh, and it was like really took me by surprise. I'm not a big fan of that song. It's not my favorite song, but I was jamming. It was great.
Oh yeah,
I highly recommend it. All right, we got to move this along. I got things to do. And I just gotta go. Basically, I'm just gonna go cry in the corner because I can't play video games. So, let's talk about some new releases. What do you say?
sounds good.
Let's do it. New releases from last week. All right, not a huge week. Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to come out this week for PlayStation 4, Xbox One. That's been delayed about a month, so we'll talk about that next month. This week we did get a new game that I was excited for. Meet Your Maker came out on April 4th to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, and PC. This is a first-person like rating and building game from Behavior Interactive, the guys that did Dead by Daylight. And did you get a chance to check this out at all?
No, not yet.
I did. I got in there. I paid for a couple hours. I'm on the fence about it. So it was a day one game on PlayStation Plus. So that's where I got to play it, which is great. And the hook of it is great. Like, so it immediately starts off. You can't build anything yet, but you go in this this dungeon thing that someone built, and you got to go through, and it's a one hit kill, and you're dead. And like, there's traps everywhere, and monsters like jumping out at you, and you got to get like, it's just you're trying to collect like this Like anytime you kill something or break a trap, it drops something and you pick it up, and that's the currency you use to like either build things or upgrade your character, that sort of thing. But at the beginning, you start out, you just have like a grenade, like 2 grenades, and a gun that shoots terribly, and there's like 2 bullets, and then a grappling hook. And I found that if you're in a situation where there's like a monster coming at you, you kind of expect it to be like a first person shooter, and it's really not. Like the it's not tight at all. Like the shooting and the that sort of thing is like really really bad. Like it was like, really, what is this game I'm playing? Now I'm assuming, again, this is very early, that when you upgrade your stuff, that will get better. So you go through and you die instantly. You die, and you go back through and like, okay, this is the trap that I died to last time. Got that trap. Then you go up a little bit more, get hit with another trap, die. So, and then it's like quick. So you're right back in it. You're trying it again. I got through like the first one after maybe like 10 deaths, and they're random. Wow. So they're generated by people out there that are making these. So like you don't know what you're gonna get when you get into there. I think there are difficulty levels and stuff, then I got to the point where I could upgrade something. So that's where I'm at now, and I haven't gone back in yet to play more, but I understand the hook. Otherwise, it's really minimal. Like there's not much in the world. There's not much going on. It's like kind of empty. So that, I don't know. But I think I want to try building one. That's not usually my thing, but I want to just see what that's like and see if that's fun. And then because I think it keeps the stats. Like, so every time somebody dies in your like dungeon thing, it'll tell you. So I want to see, I'm like, how many times can I kill somebody?
Yeah, really interesting concept for a game. I've been waiting for this one to come out. So it's definitely one of those where like we didn't get enough information about it. Not enough early gameplay of it to really tell whether it's worth the money. So
yeah,
hoping to check that out, see what people are saying about it. Maybe check the Metacritic score.
Yeah, it's definitely, people are on both sides of it. People are loving it, say it's such an amazing game, and then other people are more on my side where it's like it's just kind of lacking something. But I think if I did put more time into it, I'd have more fun, or even playing co-op, like so you could play with one other person, and that makes it so much easier because you can revive. Like if you see someone die from a trap, A, that trap's there, and B, like you revive them, you're not starting over again. You're just continuing from that spot. So I think that would probably be pretty enjoyable too.
Yeah.
So, and then the other new release we have is Everspace 2. This came out on PC. Now, this was in early access for like 2 years now, and it's finally the official release of this game. It's going to be coming out on PS5 and Xbox X and S sometime in the future, this summer, is supposedly. But what this is, it's like a space looter shooter. I've seen it compared to like Diablo in space, where you're flying this spaceship around, and you got to like get stuff to like upgrade your ship, and you do these missions and you upgrade your ship, and that's like the hook of this one. So getting great reviews, 83 on Metacritic right now. And normally I don't like flying games because I'm not good at flying, but after I watched some reviews, some trailers of this, I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of cool. I love games where you could just, you have a mission, you do your mission, and then you could upgrade, you upgrade, and that's it. I get there's a little bit of a story here. I did see that's one of the negatives to it. There's not much of a story, but sometimes you don't need a story in games like this, where it's just like, you're just upgrading. That's the story.
When it's like really resource heavy like that, it's a little goes a long way as far as the story. Don't get in the way of what the players want to do. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make it too convoluted. Just let me get out there, shoot some things, and make my ship super dope. That's it. Those are our major releases this past week. So, you play, if you had a choice between either one of these, which one you playing first? Ready? Go.
Definitely check out Meet Your Maker first.
Yep, I knew that was you. And Meet Your Meat. That's a different game. All right, let's move on. let's talk about some news of the week. All right, first up, we got to talk about this. I've been talking about Steam Deck a lot lately, and now we're getting a little, possibly a competitor in the market. The ROG Ally by Asus was revealed. Now, so there's not too much details about time or pricing, but we did get some ideas of the specs. They showed a trailer of this. It's a beautiful looking machine. So it's a handheld, basically a handheld PC, gaming PC. That's you just play. It's got a 7-inch 16:9 screen with 1920 by 1080 resolution, refresh rate of 120 hertz, and a brightness of 500 nits. So very, very comparable to the Steam Deck. Very, very similar specs. A little bit better on this one. That's also got a, I don't know, this is all gibberish to me. It's got a custom 4nm APU with AMD's Zen 4 architecture and RDNA 3 graphics. Asus claims it will offer 2 times the performance of the Steam Deck. Wow. And it runs Windows 11 as opposed to the Steam operating system in the Steam Deck. So
no, I like. I think the Steam one is built on Linux. But with Windows 11, I know on Steam Deck, and you probably know this better than I do, there's a little bit of bullshittery you have to do to install things from other platforms than Steam. And I'm the type of PC gamer who likes to have my Epic account, my Steam account, my GOG, or wherever the free games are coming out, wherever the deals are. So that seems like it would make it a little bit easier to get those other games on there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like you got to deal with Windows, but it's more open to have the ability to add all these. And especially when every game manufacturer has their own launcher now and everything, so it definitely will make things easier. And then, so it's just, and then you could also connect it to like a television for, for a cool experience like that, just like the Steam Deck. So really cool. It's like, so other than what we saw in this little trailer, there have been some rumors out there. Now, I don't know, take these with a grain of salt, but they're saying that price-wise, the rumors are saying that there's going to be a 512 gigabyte one for $649 and a 1 terabyte one for $899. And they come in white or black. So definitely quite a bit more expensive than a Steam Deck. A base Steam Deck is only $300, but that's only with 64 gigabytes of storage, onboard storage. So it's like, that's all about, getting the memory cards and that sort of thing, or upgrading your thing afterwards. So and then there's possible, again, according to these rumors, possible release of October of 2023 for this. So pretty cool. It's it looks nice. It's got like lights in the that kind of run through the plastic. That looks pretty cool. But what do you think?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm interested in it. I mean, I just don't know about dropping that kind of price for one, because when it comes to like the internal storage, my theory is like, buy big, because you're not going to have the chance to do that later. You can always add 2, which is good, but I mean, you're still going to be with the base internal memory, so it's whatever size card you can add to it, and then whatever you're kind of stuck with if you don't go with the higher model. And $900 for it, that's the price of a like mid-range gaming PC.
Sure.
As is. So don't know how bad I want to play handheld.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a very niche market, but it's something that right now, the Steam Deck is pretty much the only thing going. So, there's definitely room in the market for a competitor. I'm interested to see what this is going to be and what it's going to be like. So until then, we just got to keep looking for more information. There are some YouTubers and stuff that have had hands-on with it. I don't know as far as like if they have any like NDAs to talk about it, but I've been seeing a few videos out there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look and check more out. But obviously, I'm not. I'm not in the market for this. I've got my Steam Deck, and I'm hoping that lasts for quite a while longer. But it's definitely a pretty cool little toy. But yeah, it's expensive too. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see with no official pricing, but yeah. So they're not the only ones getting into the handheld gaming thing. There's been more rumors about a different portable gaming device. Insider Gaming website reported a new device from PlayStation called the Q Lite, and it's a handheld, basically like a PlayStation controller with a screen in the middle is what it's been described as. It's got all the haptics and everything in there, but it's got like a screen that runs 1080p, 60 frames per second, and let me see. So now this is all rumors. There have been nothing official announced. This is all from this Insider Gaming. But it says early prototypes show the console will look a lot like a PlayStation 5 controller, but with a massive 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center. The device sports adaptive triggers for haptic feedback and will include what you would come to expect from a handheld: volume button, speakers, and audio input jack, etc. So now the only thing about this, it sounds really cool. But people were instantly disappointed when it was described as only being able to be used to remote play games from your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, people were kind of looking for the Vita 2 out of this.
Exactly. Yes. And like in a world where I could do that on my I could easily do remote play on my smartphone with one of those. What I had done prior to this, I could do it on my Steam Deck now, but I used to do it on my smartphone with one of those backbone controllers, and it worked fine. It was great. Price on this, it's gonna be, if this machine is, I don't know what, $150, just to be able to play remote play,
oh, definitely worth it.
Then worth it. But I mean, if it's got an 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center, can they do it like that? $150, $300 if it's like, no one's gonna buy that.
Yeah. Well, like you said about the last one, this is like, I can think of a lot of niche uses for this. Maybe you have a PS5 and your kid always wants to play, but you only have the main TV in the living room. So turn the PS5, watch your TV, give the kid the handheld, and for $300, they can do that without disturbing you.
That's true, and I'm sure the quality is going to be way better than trying to run it through a like a smartphone. It never really works as good as you want it to.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck, you got to put some programs on there and get some workarounds. So it's not like, some kid's not going to be like, hey, let's do that. And even then, your Steam Deck costs a pretty penny. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm again, this is entirely rumored, and they also rumored that it would be released at the end of 2024 if this were to come out. So again, keep it locked in. We'll have all the news on the Q Lite, which I hope that's just a working title.
Yeah.
Not
so attractive.
No. Yeah, no one wants to talk about Q anymore. All right, next up, let's talk about Xbox had an ID at Xbox Showcase. They have these every once in a while, and what they do, they show a bunch of new indie games that have either been announced and they got release dates or just a new look. But this one was really cool, man. Every single game that they showed off at this, I was like, I'm getting that one. And the longer it went, the more and more I was like, what? This game looks awesome. So let's run through them real fast. First up, we got to look at a new DLC for Vampire Survivors, the Tides of Foscari expansion. So that's coming out on April 13 for $1.99. I definitely recommend Vampire Survivors to anybody who does not have it. That includes you. Get in there, dude. It's like $2. It's quality. The Last Case of Benedict Fox got another game trailer. They showed off some of the combat from this new Metroidvania style game. Again, I'm watching this. I'm like, this is amazing. Like the abilities he's using, he's like turns to stone so that he can't be attacked, and then like uses these like just the fighting looks great. And you know, a good Metroidvania is always good. And this one's got a little bit of a horror theme. Set in Boston in 1925. That comes out April 27th. Cassette Beasts. This one looks awesome. Turn-based role-playing game. Looks like a Pokemon, but with like this 80s like style where instead of like Pokemon, you have to like capture them on like a cassette tape, and then you can turn into them and record them. I don't know.
It looks like you can even like put them together and it'll sort of mash them into one monster, which I don't know if that's available for like every monster or certain ones, but that's what I'm looking for. Because this is like, Pokemon isn't the only one to ever do this. We also had Digimon, Monster Rancher, and a whole ton of other things back in the day that did similar to Pokemon. So why not? Why not a new one? That does like, you know, takes the best of all of those.
Yeah, it looks so fun. And the style of it, really, it does capture that old school kind of Pokemon look. This one comes out on PC and PC Game Pass April 26th, and then later this year on console. Omega Strikers is like a new multiplayer sports type game. It's a free-to-play multiplayer game, and it's like a mashup of soccer and hockey. And it's like this top-down thing, and you're trying to score. It looks insane, but it looks like it's going to be a blast. Like, you know, kind of could capture that Rocket League type, you know, feeling. That comes out April 27th as well. It's going to be 3v3 matches. The ability to sling slime, toss tofu, and rocket boost. And then they showed the Carters 2 Turbocharged. Now, this is not a sequel to the Beyonce and Jay-Z album. This is a new kart racing game, kind of like a Mario Kart type thing. Looks pretty cool. This one, they showed off a bunch of the racing and the karts and the you know, the fun custom stuff that's in there. I don't know if we got a release date on that one, but that one looked like a lot of fun. Coffee Talk Episode 2. It's another like visual novel type thing. I think my wife, I don't know if she played the first Coffee Talk or just downloaded it, but episodic type thing. Homestead Arcana. It's a farming witch simulator, which looks interesting. Like you farm, and then to grow it, you like make a rain cloud appear above it, and then you harvest it and make potions.
Shout out Witch Talk.
Yeah, exactly. This comes out April 21st on PC and Xbox Series X. It's a day one game on Game Pass. Now, if you want to get super sad, you can play Closer the Distance. This is about a little girl who dies in a car accident, and then you go around and you see how everybody's dealing with the loss. Sounds very sad. It looks interesting, though.
Yeah.
The Explorator. This one, the trailer got me really hyped. It's just, so I'll describe the trailer. I'll include it here as well. But the beginning, it's like really this great, like epic music and this great lush scenery. And all of a sudden, these crazy looking cartoon, like plant creatures or something just start screaming. And then you have like a shotgun and you're blasting them into bits. I have no idea what it is, but it looks fun.
Yeah, this is the one that really caught my eye out of this lineup as well, because it's almost like a 90s cell shading cartoon style in the middle of everything else being kind of realistic.
Yes.
So really looking forward to seeing more about that one too.
Yeah, that was so strange looking. That no release date, but it says coming soon, Xbox and PC. And then this this is what I mean. Like, just when I think like, wow, this is great, another game comes along. I'm like, holy shit, this one's great. Lil Guardsman. So what this one is like you're a 12-year-old and you have to you work at like as a guard in a kingdom that decides who gets to go through, who gets to go to jail, and who gets just murdered on the spot. And there's 100 characters, all different. They're all unique, and they all want to go through this thing. And you have to decide their fate on what happens to these characters. And it's so strange and so interesting that I was like, I have to play this game like immediately. So again, no release date, but 2023. What'd you think of that one?
Looks interesting. I think there's a PC game that I've not played, but I've seen it called like Border Crossing, something like that, about like
Okay.
a nondescript Soviet-esque
Hmm.
border crossing. And I think this is going to draw heavily from that, but this is like the medieval version. So I'm interested in seeing, especially visually, how this one can be a little bit better than that one.
Yeah, yeah, and this one's got a very cartoony style, but like very like every single character in it looked entirely unique, and just really strange. And then the last one they showed was Cabaret. It's a dark fantasy adventure game with monsters. That one looked it looked interesting. So it wasn't my favorite, but yeah, lots of really unique and interesting games coming to PC and Xbox, and all of them pretty much coming like this month. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
them are coming out later in April. So I'm excited. I know a lot of people are like, "Where's my AAA games? I want all," you know. But this is the shit that I look forward to. It, you know, keeps me
Yeah.
going until that next big major title comes out. You know,
And don't write off indies. They're some of the biggest games now.
it's like what I've been playing most on my Steam Deck. It's the perfect machine for that, you know, and just
Hmm.
and the way that like all these new ones are coming out and they're so strange and so unique and unlike anything that I've played before, and it's just like it's a blast. So definitely looking forward to a lot of those. All right, next up, $38 billion, full clip. $38 billion. That is how much Saudi Arabia is planning on investing to become a video game hub. So, I mean, I feel like sometimes I've invested that amount in video games. 30, you
Uh-huh.
know, it's just my backlog. But no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's a
The
lot of
going
money.
price for a Nintendo 64 these days.
There you go. Yeah. So Savvy Games Group. This is a company in Saudi Arabia that is funded by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and they want to get into games. So they started this company and they've been doing a lot of esports stuff, and now they want to get into creating games and funding games and making video games. So you know, $38 billion. That's a huge investment. Now, for a while, the public investment fund was expected to buy the WWE. So, you know, they did not. That just came out last week that they were bought by Endeavor. They're creating a different company. So now they're like, okay, now what are we going to do with all our money? Video games is the answer. So yeah, the chief executive officer of Savvy, Brian Ward, said, "We are now more of an esports company than a games company. What we're doing this year is focusing more on game publishing and development." He says, "We would like to use our investments to begin to work with these companies that they're invested in. They got a ton of investments out there with like Activision Blizzard, Nintendo, and they're trying to use those investments to be like, hey, how about we make the games?" Which I don't know if that's how it works. I guess, right? You pay enough into
I
there and
guess so.
they give you a turn. Okay, your turn. But they said, yeah, they want to work together on publishing these games in the Middle East and North Africa and run their esports businesses and develop new IPs. So they recently increased their stake in Nintendo to 8.3% to become the largest outside shareholder. So I guess they've got some a little pull in the biz over there. You know, what do you think? What do you think about this?
There's
Can
a
they do
lot.
it? Can
There's
they
a
do
lot that
it?
goes into this. I mean,
Mhm.
we're talking about I don't know. There's a lot that goes into making games and games that people want to play. It's more than just money. You have to have, heart and wisdom and be a gamer. So
Yeah.
money's not going to solve all the problems. Money's not going to guarantee anything. I hope they realize that.
Yeah, but if they can get back the right people, make some quality IPs, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's easier said than done, right? We've seen it a lot. People just throwing money at a game trying to make something amazing, and it's not. But if anybody's gonna do it, it's Saudi Arabia. That's what I always say. But they recently just acquired Scopely. So this is, again, maybe part of their plan, just keep getting into these games. So maybe they'll start small. Scopely is a mobile game studio. They just bought it for $4.9 billion. It's the sixth biggest acquisition in the video game industry. And so they make like Yahtzee with Buddies, Star Trek Fleet Command, Marvel Strike Force, Scrabble. So, another investment. Maybe they'll start making like some cool mobile games. Start there. What do you think? You think that's the way to create games? You start small and then work up?
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, and I was a little surprised by that because I thought they'd be going for the AAA console and PC markets. But if they're talking about North Africa and the Middle East, probably a lot more mobile gaming going on there.
Yeah, I mean, $38 billion. They could do whatever they want. I'm sure they'd be doing AAA and mobile gaming if they're dropping 38 bill. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. There's been no announcements about, creating games or studios being created or anything like that. This is really just the first step. They're showing their plans to kind of make Saudi Arabia a mecca of video game publishing and creation. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But they got a lot of money riding on it. So, all right, I have 2 questions for our listeners. 1, do you live in the UK? 2, is your Nintendo Switch controller all effed up? Because if you answered yes to both of those, good news, you can now get your Nintendo Switch, the Joy-Con. If you got drift problems, you get it fixed outside of warranty through Nintendo. Exciting times, right?
Yes, all things through litigation.
Thank you. Yeah. So now, what I think is the funniest out of this. No, so first of all, this has been the case in the United States. For a few years now. I don't know why it took this long for them to recognize UK and Europe, but the funniest part about it. So on the Nintendo's support page, it reads, Nintendo takes great pride in creating high quality and durable products and is continuously making improvements to them. Therefore, and until further notice, Nintendo offers to customers who purchase the respective product in the European Economic Area, UK, and Switzerland, that repairs for responsiveness syndrome relating to control sticks will be conducted at no charge by official Nintendo repair centers. Now, they're like, hey, we're doing this. No, they were forced to do this by a consumer organization in Europe.
Yeah, and class action lawsuits over and over again on every continent.
Exactly. So I just thought that was funny that they're like, we gotcha. Not that they were like their hand was forced. In addition, so basically the European Consumer Organization said Nintendo can still sell the console with this potential bug, but they're gonna. It's a short-term fix. They need to do something to correct this. Which, I mean, we're in the long term now. The Switch is nearing the end of its life cycle. So, I don't know this whole thing. I have 2. I have to get new ones, and I just have it. I have 2 that are just terribly drifting. Like I said, my kid tries to play it, and he's just like spinning in circles playing Super Mario.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, for you and for any listeners who are interested while we're on the topic, there is a Linus Tech Tips video from, I'm not sure if it was a few weeks ago, but they kind of go over an alternative. If you're to the point where you're like, I've either got to fix this or buy new, they do actually make some different kind of Joy-Con analog sticks that are like magnetic based rather than the same old kind. So you can just drop them in like you would the new ones. They do cost a pretty penny. They're like $40 a piece. But if you could have one pair of Joy-Cons that'll last you forever, rather than going out to the store getting more that are going to get the same drift issue,
right? Or
sending it into Nintendo, waiting 3 months, and coming back and getting the same drift issue.
Yeah.
That might be an option.
Yeah, I feel like I should probably send out so I have 4 Joy-Cons. I could send out like 2 of them, and then when those come back, I'll send the other 2 out. I just haven't even really looked into it. But now it's definitely getting way worse. But yeah, I think they're $70 for new ones.
New set.
But yeah, so it's crazy. Now, so there is a UK consumer group called Which, WHICH question mark in the UK that thinks this is not even an acceptable response. They said, Rockio Conca, the director of policy and advocacy, said that many customers will already have bought potentially expensive replacements over the years. And he said, as well as free repairs, Nintendo also needs to commit to compensation, refunds, or replacements for any consumers who have been impacted by this issue since the launch of the console, and promote this scheme so that consumers know that support is available. They're still harping on them. They want them, to refund people who prior to this have gone out and bought, extra pairs and stuff like that. Yeah. So, we'll see where that ends up going, but I don't expect much. Which, I like that. I like anything that's just poses a question when it really isn't. Which?
Shout out Witch Talk.
Man, we're going to be huge on Witch Talk.
We are.
All right, and last up, Pokemon Stadium is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online April 12th. Are you excited for this? Have you been a Stadium fan? I've never played it.
Oh, I loved it as a kid. I think I actually have the physical copy around here somewhere, a 1 or 2 or both. But yeah, loved it. Awesome game. And actually watching the trailer for this, I forgot about how much there was in there. It's got a lot of Mario Party-esque like mini games that I think they count as training. But yeah, this is a game of my era of Pokemon. Unfortunately, I don't have the N64 like upgrade kit for Nintendo Online.
I almost bought it yesterday. It was just yesterday. My kid was like screaming at me like, I want to play Mario Party. And I was like, I think they put some on there, which I looked, and I don't think they're out yet. I don't know. I didn't look very well. But then I saw that this was coming out. I was like, maybe this is the time to get in there and get the expansion. But now I'm new to this game. I wasn't familiar with how it is. But people that are familiar with it are a little upset because it lacks one major component in that you can't transfer your Pokemon that you have, that you've built up and that you love, into the game, which was a thing that you could do with your, Pokemon Red and Yellow, I believe. Take your characters and put them in there and battle with them. So there's no way of doing that in this. So you only use the rental teams, and it doesn't have that, that exciting thing of your people, or Pokemon, I mean, going out and winning things. So
yeah,
there's a lot of upset fans.
I don't know what people expect there. I don't know of any other Switch game or remake Switch game, whatever we want to call this, that like interfaces with the Game Boy Color. But
yeah, I don't know how they could have done this either. And even we've seen as the releases are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion thing, like the GoldenEye and stuff, they're not adding like bells and whistles. They're just putting these out there into the world. So take what you can get. So yeah, it's if I get it, I'll let you know how it is, what I think of it. So what is it? It's like a battle? You got to battle your Pokemon?
Yeah, giant stadium. You get some cool effects when like Blastoise blasts the water.
Yeah, hell yeah! I'm a Bulbasaur. What does he do? He just has plants.
He's got some vines that he whips out.
All right, whip it out, Bulbasaur. All right, I think that's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
We can tease this. We watched the new Mario movie.
We did, yes. Keep an eye out for our first ever Gaming News Weekly movie review. Give a little tease.
It was good.
Oh shit! Spilling the beans.
No, spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. We're gonna talk about that for 67 minutes. That's the plan. All right. Thank you so much for checking out this here episode of Gaming News Weekly. My name is Erect the Red. This guy is Full Clip. You can find us on Fruit Lab, pimping our video game play over there. If you are not cool and don't want to go to Fruit Lab, go to YouTube. I'm at Pop Culture Playground. He's at GameFAQs, GAMEFAX. You can also find him on Twitch, FullClip_FL. And check out the podcast version of this show if you want. On the go, right in your pocket, like a pocket monster. That's what we call ourselves. Or a cassette beast. I'm just realizing that, there's similarities. But yeah, anywhere podcasts are found, you could download the audio version of this show. And check out our TikTok. We're over there ticking and talking. Witch Talk. Shout out Witch Talk.
Shout out.
And I think that's it. And then, like you said, watch out for the big Mario review coming very, very soon. All right, should we end this and end the suffering?
We better.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.